Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode. I've always thought that travel is one of the most enjoyable activities out there. I mean, who doesn't love exploring new places, right? When I was young, my family and I traveled to Hawaii many times. Hawaii. It's this beautiful island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and it's one of the 50 states of the US. I've been there about 6 or 7 times. It's definitely one of my favorite places in the world. The beaches are stunning, and the lifestyle there is just so slow and calm.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I've always wanted to go to Hawaii. So, what's your favorite thing to do there? Is it just lounging on the beach, or do you do other stuff too? Laughs.
Oh, it's not just lounging on the beach. I mean, sure, that's part of it, but I love hiking the trails, exploring the lush forests, and even snorkeling in the clear waters. It's like being in a postcard. But even though Hawaii is one of my favorites, I actually prefer the countryside, forests, or mountains more than the beach. There's something about camping trips and road trips that just speaks to my soul.
That's interesting. So, what's the most epic road trip you've ever taken? I can only imagine the stories you must have. Sigh.
Oh, definitely. I recently took a road trip through the Tuscany region of Italy. It was one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had. Picture this: rolling hills, vineyards stretching as far as the eye can see, and charming little towns. If you ever get the chance to go to Italy, I highly recommend renting a car and driving through Tuscany. You won't be disappointed.
Wow, Tuscany sounds like a dream. But, what about the food? I mean, Italian food is just legendary. Did you get to try any local dishes? Laughs.
Absolutely! The food is phenomenal. I had the best pasta and gelato of my life there. It's like every bite tells a story. Speaking of Europe, I also took a backpacking trip through Portugal and Spain a few years ago. Now, that was a different experience. It was my first time backpacking, and let me tell you, it wasn't easy.
Oh man, backpacking sounds intense. Did you have to carry everything on your back? I can't even imagine. Sigh.
Yes! We spent a lot of time walking and taking buses and trains while lugging around these big backpacks. We stayed in some low-quality hostels and, oh boy, did we have some bad experiences. The worst was definitely being bitten by bedbugs in Madrid.
Ew, bedbugs. That's like a horror story. So, what's your advice for someone who wants to stay in hostels? Laughs.
Definitely read the online reviews first. Sometimes it's better to pay a little more for a better place. Some people prefer hotels, while others like Airbnbs. Lately, I've been staying at Airbnbs wherever I travel. It's definitely better than staying in hostels, in my opinion.
Right. I've heard Airbnbs can be really nice. But, what about the flights? I've heard that can be a nightmare sometimes. Sigh.
Oh, absolutely. The flight is probably the worst part about traveling. I've been lucky not to have had any really bad flights, but I have experienced long delays and canceled flights, which can really ruin your trip. There were 2 times when I had to spend the night at the airport, which was just terrible.
Oh no, that sounds awful. I can't even imagine trying to sleep on those uncomfortable chairs. So, do you have any tips for making flights more bearable? Sigh.
Well, I always recommend bringing a good book or downloading some podcasts to keep you entertained. Overall, there are good and bad things about traveling, but we can all agree that it's nice to travel once in a while.
Totally. That's all for today. Leave a comment and tell me your favorite place that you've traveled to. I'll see you next video. Laughs.